it is me, your girl Denise, again, as promised. So, on my last video, I said that I wanted to be open and vulnerable and tell my story so that you can tell your story of your surviving, how you survived. I want to tell my story on how I survived, so hopefully my story can inspire you, baby, that you can get up, honey. You can rise above all of that. You don't count yourself out. Don't look down on yourself. You got this. You ain't nothing wrong with you. You're a beautiful person. Yeah. You made mistakes. Who don't? All right. Brush off. Get up. Brush off. Do the forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness. Be sincere. Change your heart. And go at it. Get up and go. That was not always easy for me. I was so hard on myself. And I guess, when you hear things that's not positive to you verbally, you begin to take the form of those words and live them in your life. You begin to okay, then that's who I am, what I am, because I didn't know no better. I didn't know me. I just didn't have a clue. Sister didn't have a clue. So I'm going to share this little part of a story that long years and years ago, I've been in church or raised in church. Then I gave my life to the Lord. I was really super young. I didn't know, how to live on this God-fearing life. I was young. I was the only one going to church in my house. All my, my brothers and sisters, it was just me. My mom wasn't going to church. My dad, he wasn't living in a home with us, but he wasn't in church. It was just me. And I was I'm like, 10, 11 years old, deciding I want to go to church, and I hear all these people talking about this amazing God and what he's doing and how, for real? And they're talking about what they ask God. I said, you can talk to God. You can ask God stuff. I didn't know. I didn't have no God. Even though my grandmother, which is my mom's mom, she took us to church when we were little. And she taught us how to say the Lord's Prayer. She taught us Psalms 23. She used to have, and I have it too. She had this blessed oil. Now, the oil itself is not what heals you. It's the faith that you have. So, Grandma had some faith. She had all of us kids stand in a line at her house when we spent the night and get in a line like we at church while she put a oil cross on our foreheads and pray over us. Now, I appreciate that, because I'm so glad that somebody was praying for me. And I took that seriously. I was, pray for me, Grandma. It was just something as a kid just to see my grandma do that. But I don't remember too much of it. I mean, we went to church, but we didn't have children's church or anything like that. I remember going to some summer stuff, but it's I really didn't know too much. So I didn't really start understand or learning or curious, real curious, until I started going to church with one of my neighbor friends that was living on the same block as me. And her mom and sisters, they was all, they was in church. They was going around places singing, and I was just seeing things. I was testimonies, At the time, I didn't know it was like testimonies. I just thought people was getting up talking and telling about what happened to her, what God, with this amazing God. I was like, man, how come I can't see nobody else's life story, but I could just only see mine? But anyway, I was a kid. I didn't understand. But I just knew that I wanted to learn about this amazing God when I was a kid. And I wanted the Holy Spirit. I was hearing about that. And when the Holy Spirit came on and empowered me, I grew. I learned. I made a lot of mistakes. But God grew me up. And I'm thankful. So, this is the story I want to tell you that. I gotta rest my arm. That when this was when I was married, and there's things going on that I didn't like, I didn't agree with. It was hard, as I didn't understand what was wrong with me, what I had to change. My confidence, it was gone. My, believing in myself, I don't know how else to say it right now. I mean, I'll talk about that later. But, so it was, I was in church. When I say in church, let me stop saying in church, like the building. I'm talking about relationship with God. So my relationship with God, I started to backslide. Because and that's one thing. God don't play about you putting nobody before him. But because I was putting this person, this husband, this marriage, or that marriage, in the forefront first, and trying to be somebody that I wasn't, it was tearing me up, and it was tearing me down. I got to the place that I gradually not going to church, being in fellowship, hearing the word, reading my word. I wasn't. I started going out. Then I started drinking. Then I started taking pills to help me sleep, because I didn't want to deal with what was happening. I wanted the pain to go away. I didn't want to deal with the pain. I just wanted to sleep it all. I just wanted to feel that high, so that I wouldn't feel it. I wouldn't have no feelings. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought. That's what the enemy made me feel. And then I did what I wanted to try to get myself out of that zone, right? So I started doing all of that. And one day I was sitting at the table. It was at night. And I was looked over at the buffet drawer, and I had my Bible up there. And I heard the Lord speak to me and say, "It's been a long time since you talked to me. It's been a long time since we had a conversation. You haven't picked up that Bible in a very long time. It got dust on it. We haven't talked." And so I was sitting at the table because I was crying and I was hurting. I was discouraged. I was sad. I just didn't want to be here. I just was just done. I was tired of being treated I just was tired. So I'm sitting there, and when I hear that, I heard the Lord speak to me, say that, I just broke down. And I was like, but God, I'm tired. I'm tired. And so then I heard the Lord say, get that Bible, pick it up, pick yourself up, get up and run. I'm telling you the honest truth. That's what I heard God speak to me. I boo-hooed, I bawled and cried because I knew I had to give up drinking. Even it was in secret. Times that my kids didn't even know. Taking pills because I wanted to be how I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to be high because I wanted the pain to go away. I didn't want to think about, what was hurting me. What can I do to be better? What is it? What is it with me? What's wrong with me? So I just wanted to stop. And then, giving up that, I was not an alcoholic or nothing like that, but it was the fact that I was doing something that was not me, that was not a part of who I am. And sometimes we resort to things because we think that that's what's going to help us deal with something that's going to help us face. We don't want to face it. So we try to do something to deaden that place, right? So you don't have to feel. You don't want to feel nothing. You don't want to accept what is. You don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. I want to hear it. Because you're going to have to deal with it. So even after the high came off, I still had to deal with it. But I realized where, I went wrong was I left God out of it. I couldn't do it on my own. I had to give it to God. And that, it took a long time for me to get to a certain place. To learn to love me, because I definitely was not loving myself. I didn't love myself. Didn't know how to. I felt like if, somebody else had to love me, for me to know that I was loved, whatever. I didn't know that to love me, it had to start with me. I just thought that a man, had to make me happy. But I had found out, I learned, took me up into my 50 almost, to be honest with you, to really come to the actual clarity, realization that happiness is not somebody else's responsibility to bring into your life. That happiness that I needed was for me to bring to me. I'm the one to make, because if you looking for somebody to make you happy, to bring happiness, to make you happy, they're going to have to be doing something all the time to make something happen all the time to make you happy. And then when they go away and they take their happiness out the door with them, what you got? Because you've been dependent on their happiness. I had to learn that I need to be happy with me. Learn to love who I am, myself. Learn to treat myself good. Learn how to spend time with Denise. Learn how to talk to myself. Learn how to lift myself up. Learn how to encourage myself. Learn how to discipline myself. Of course, the Holy Spirit helped me. God, he really helped me through so much. He gave me so much information, so many amazing people in my life. But I'm the one that had to do the work. I'm the one that had to get up, and I had to be purposeful. I had to be intentional on me. I had to be intentional on if I wanted, about my prayer time, about me studying my word, about me really trusting God. How do I trust God? Giving it up to God, turning over my plate, just changing, just thinking, this stinky thinking, just my thinking was poo for real. And I had to do the work. It was hard. I keep saying that because that's you have to do the work in order to get over, to get past, to move on, to move forward. And then learning to forgive yourself first of all. But then the most important is when you forgiving that person, you forgiving someone for hurting you, for disappointing you, for deceiving you, whatever that it may be. That forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. Because you're killing yourself when you don't forgive. You harboring all of that anger, bitterness, vengefulness. You're hurting yourself. And I realized that I was hurting myself. So that's part of what I wanted to share with you. So I just, at that time when I was, drinking and taking pills, I felt like, and that day, come back to that night when I was sitting at the table, I was sitting there because I was sitting there thinking I was by myself. I don't know where my kids was. And I don't know where my, my ex-husband was. Excuse me. But I felt like my life, it's like I could visual. It's like I had a vision. Like had this vision, this dream that my life was like a spiraling staircase. Spiral. And I felt myself spiraling downwards. I was spiraling. And that's when I was sitting at the table, feeling that way, seeing my life like it was fast, this world like a spinning spiral staircase. And that's when I heard the Lord say what he said. We ain't talked in a long time. You ain't talked to me in a long time. When we gonna spend some time together? I was too ashamed, to be honest with you. I was too ashamed to go to God. I was too ashamed to get in my word because I felt like I was disappointing God. And because the things that I was doing, I reverted to, knowing that I shouldn't have been doing it, but I didn't know. I felt like I didn't have no other way out. I didn't know what other way to deal with my hurt, to deal with my pain, to deal with, what was happening in my life. So I didn't, I was ashamed, and didn't feel worthy to even ask God anything because of what I was doing. So, but I'm so glad that God saw me. God, he saw me. He met me exactly where I was. And he came and rescued me. It didn't happen overnight. No. I mean, when I say overnight, I mean, I didn't, as far as rebuilding myself and all of that kind of things and learning, moving forward, all of that came in time. But when I had to learn to stop doing all of that drinking and taking them pills to make, to go to sleep and to get and be high, I had to put that away. Because not only was it killing my spirit man, my spiritual life, but it was harming my body. So it was just a really hard time. And I'm just thankful that I had God to even still come. Just no matter where you at, how bad it looks, no matter how bad what you done, what you're doing, if you want help, God got you. He do. And he will set up people in your life to come and help you, to help you navigate through some things and decision making, help you open up some things so you can see some things, so you can see yourself, so you can figure out baby, come on. You deserve better than that. You deserve to treat yourself better than that. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope this was something you can be helped with or encouraged, or maybe you could tell your story to someone, or maybe you can relate to what I'm saying. Just let me know. Drop down a comment if you could, and let me know what you think. And pray for me. I'm praying for you. I'm encouraged and I'm thankful for where God has brought me from. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.